Hello. Welcome back. This is week 6, part 4. We are still in unit 8, lesson E. We are talking about cover letters. So your homework was to answer questions about the cover letter that we read on page 104. So let's read that cover letter again and then go over the questions. All right, so it's from Esther Yitbarek, and then it gives her email address. The subject is teacher's assistant position, and it is addressed to lynn.stevens@osbornk12.edu. And then it shows the attachment, that little paperclip picture, that means attachment, says resume, Esther Yitbarek. Now here's the greeting and the body of the letter. Dear Miss Stevens, I read your advertisement online for a position as a teacher's assistant. I am very interested in this position and have attached my resume. I have been working as a teacher's assistant at Hilltop Elementary School for 3 years. In this job, I have taught reading and math to students in small groups. I have also tutored individual students who were having problems with the lessons. I'm very interested in child development, and I love working with children. I get along very well with my coworkers, and I'm also skilled at dealing with parents. I am planning to move to a new home in your district. I hope you will call me to schedule an interview. My phone number is 773-555-2673. I look forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Esther Yitbarek. And then you see at the bottom the resume, or at least a picture of the resume. Okay, so, and then before we go over the questions, I wanted to talk a little bit more about resume. Everybody say resume. Resume. Sometimes you see the word resume and it has the accent marks over the letters. Sometimes it has like this, resume. Sometimes it's just one, and sometimes there are none. So I wouldn't say that all of those are correct. I think this is technically correct. However, all of these are common. I see this one without any accents, I think, most frequently. The reason for all the confusion, let me read you a little note from the teacher's book about the word resume. So the word resume comes from French, from the French word meaning summary. Resume, I guess in French, means summary. Some of you may be familiar with the Latin term curriculum vitae, or CV. I'm going to write curriculum vitae. This is the one that I hear very often, especially from people who are not originally from America. Lots of my international friends use the term CV instead of resume. So, the Latin term curriculum vitae, which, like resume, is a short account of someone's career and qualifications. Most employers in the United States require a resume or CV when a person applies for a job. So if any of you are unfamiliar with resumes, I can show you some examples. I don't think any of you are unfamiliar with resumes, but if you are, please reach out and I would be happy to send you some examples. Or you can Google examples of resumes. So in English, the book says in English it can be written either this way or this way with the accent marks, okay? I think this is technically not correct, but I've seen it quite a bit. But it's either this one or this one is the best way to write it. Okay, so the cover letter is really just supposed to be kind of an introduction, and the resume is the main thing that you're sending to the employer. Okay, so now let's go over these questions on page 105. So number 1, who wrote the email cover letter? Let's see. You see it says from in the example message. It says Esther Yitbarek. So that's who wrote it. Okay? Esther Yitbarek. Number 2, who did she write it to? So who was it addressed to? That would be Mrs. Stevens. Okay, now you know that 2 ways. First, you can see the email address. It says lynn.stevens. And then second, the greeting in the body of the letter, the greeting right there says, Dear Miss Stevens, okay? So that tells you that's who the letter is addressed to. Great. Number 3, what position is she applying for? Well, you can find this 2 ways. First, in the subject line of the email, it says teacher's assistant position. But just in case that was not clear enough, you can read the body of the letter and it says, I read your advertisement online for a position as a teacher's assistant. So the answer to number 3, she is applying for the teacher's assistant position. Fun fact, your teacher, Kelsey, I was a teacher's assistant for 1 year after college in Nashville. It was a wonderful job. I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. Okay, so number 4, where did she hear about the job? Well, again, look at the body of the letter. It says, I read your advertisement online. So she heard about the position online. Okay, we don't know the specific website, but it doesn't matter. She found out about it online. Okay, number 5, how much experience does she have? So you'll see in the body of the email, it says, I have been working as a teacher's assistant at Hilltop Elementary School for 3 years. So she has 3 years experience. Okay. Number 6. What are some of her skills? I'm going to go ahead and erase that so we have room to write the rest of our answers here. Number 6. What are some of her skills? Okay. So let's think about what are some hard skills and what are some soft skills. Okay, so we would say hard skills. Teach reading and math. Teach reading and math to small groups. Okay. What else does she say? Tutor individual students. Okay. Those are 2 examples that she gives. What about if you look at the very bottom, the little example that we get to see of the beginning of her resume, it's not her whole resume, but we can see just a little bit of it. There's one more hard skill that she has. Well, technically 2, but it's kind of 1. She is bilingual in English and Amharic. Amharic is one of the main languages spoken in Ethiopia, I think. Ethiopia and Eritrea, and maybe some other parts of East Africa. Okay. And then soft skills. What are some soft skills that she mentions specifically? So she says, I get along with my coworkers. I get along very well with my coworkers. I am skilled at dealing with parents. And I would maybe also include the other 2 things as well. I think these count as soft skills. You could say interested in child development and love working with children. I think those are good examples of hard and soft skills as well. Okay? And number 7, what is the purpose of the last paragraph? So I would say The purpose of the last paragraph is to be very direct and very clear about Esther's intentions or Esther's hope. It's to say, I would like an interview. Here's my phone number. Please call me so we can schedule this. Right? So we would say to clearly state intentions of hoping for clearly state intentions that she is hoping for an interview. Okay? All right. So, those are our questions. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. All right, now let's look very quickly at this red tip box up here. It says, in the body of a cover letter, you need to include the title of the job that you are applying for, how you found out about the job, information about your skills and experience, and, this is an important one, how the employer can contact you. Okay? So, make sure, and I think that actually is part of question number 7 as well. The purpose of the last paragraph is to let the employer know how they can contact you for an interview. Okay? So, now it's your turn to write a cover letter. Okay? So the first thing you need to do is create a real or an imaginary job, and then fill out the information. So you'll see right here, paragraph 1. So this is just the planning stage, paragraph 1, 2, and 3. This is to help you plan before you write your actual cover letter. So, what is the title of the job that you're applying for? How did you find out about it? And then what are your skills and experience? Again, this depends on what is the job that you're applying for. So if this is a real job, then you might want to list real experiences and skills that you have. But if it's an imaginary job, you can make up imaginary skills and experiences. And then finally in paragraph 3, how can the employer contact you? Okay? All right. So I think that's it. That's your homework, is to fill that out and write the cover letter. One last thing. The main point with cover letters is that if your cover letter is good, it makes a very good first impression with your potential employer. If your cover letter is not good, then that's not a good first impression. So, let's work together on having really good first impressions to get the good jobs. Okay? All right, so that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Please send me a picture of your example cover letter, and I will grade it and get back to you. Oh, don't forget, after you're done, always check your writing, okay? This is a helpful checklist to make sure that you've done everything that you need to do. Okay, See you next time. Ciao.